Next property is isomerism. So isomers, they have same molecular and structural formula and also same functional group, but they differ in the three-dimensional arrangement. That is, the orientation of atoms in the space is different. Now, due to difference in orientation of the functional group and geometry of the molecule, stereoisomers differ in physicochemical and biochemical properties. Thus, isomers, they can be divided into structural isomers and stereoisomers. Structural isomers, they have different connectivity. Stereoisomers, they have same connectivity but they differ in the spatial arrangement. Stereoisomers are further divided into geometric isomers such as cis and trans. That is, if the functional group are on the same side of double bond, it is known as cis, and if they are on opposite side, it is known as trans. Optical isomers, that is, they differ in the property of rotating the light, monochromatic light. They are non-superimposable mirror images. Conformational isomers, they can be interconverted by rotation around the sigma bond. You can see in the figure the geometrical isomers, they are also known as diastereomers. You can see in the cis isomer, the functional group, for example, methyl is on the same side of the double bond, whereas in trans isomer, the methyl group are on the opposite sides of the double bond. Optical isomers, they are the molecules whose structures are mirror images that cannot be superimposed on one another in any orientation. Now, optical isomer occur in the molecule having chiral carbon. Chiral carbon means all the four substituents on it are different. As you can see in the lactic acid, all four are different. One is hydrogen, one is methyl, one is hydroxyl, and one is acid, that is carboxylic acid. So D-lactic acid and L-lactic acid, they are optical isomers. They only differ in the property of rotating the monochromatic light. Plus isomer rotates it in right direction, whereas minus isomer rotates it in left direction. Thus, optical isomer differ only in their interaction with polarized light with other chiral molecules, and with other chiral molecules they are called as enantiomers, and the pair of enantiomers is called enantiomorph. You can see example of alanine. Racemization, it refers to the term that is conversion of enantiomer into a racemic mixture, that is mixture of plus isomer as well as minus isomer, and thus the compound as a whole will be optically inactive. Resolution, the separation of racemic mixture into individual enantiomer is known as resolution. Maximum number of optically active isomers possible for a molecule having more than one chiral center can be calculated by formula N is equal to twice small n, that is twice that of asymmetric carbon atoms. So if there is one chiral center or one chiral carbon, then optical isomers possible are 2. If there are 2 chiral carbons, then optical isomers possible are 2 into 2, that is 4. Now, why is this isomerism important? Because depending on the isomers, the drug have different pharmacological activity. For example, minus hyoscyamine, it is 15 to 20 times more active as a mydriatic than plus hyoscyamine. Minus hyoscine is 16 to 18 times as active as plus hyoscine. Similarly, in epinephrine, minus form is more active vasoconstrictor as compared to the plus form. Isoprenaline, which is widely used as a bronchodilator, it is minus isomer which is more active. In non-homoepinephrine, plus isomer is more active. Now you can see plus amino acids are sweet, whereas minus amino acids are either bitter or they are sweetless. That is, they are not sweet or they may taste bitter. Now plus ascorbic acid has good anti-scorbutic properties, whereas minus ascorbic acid has none of such property. Thus you can see that plus and minus isomers play an important role in deciding the activity of the drug. So next part is drug metabolism. So as you are familiar with the term metabolism, it is the biochemical change that occurs on the drugs and its purpose is to facilitate elimination from the body. Drug, when acted upon by the enzyme, it gets converted to metabolite, and metabolite is then excreted. And generally the metabolite which is formed is polar as compared to drug, because for excretion polarity in the substance is necessary so that it becomes water soluble and gets easily excreted out of the body. So what metabolism can do to the drug? So active drug may be converted to inactive metabolite. Example are phenobarbital and morphine. Or sometimes active drug may be converted to inactive metabolite. Example is phenacetin. And also sometimes it is possible that the drug is inactive, but after metabolism it gets converted to active metabolite. So this is known as prodrug, in which the drug as such is inactive, but after metabolism it gets converted to active form. Thus inactive drug is known as prodrug. So phases of metabolism. Metabolism is divided into two phases. First is metabolic transformation or biotransformation. In second phase is known as biosynthesis. Phase 1 is also known as functionalization, which involves various reactions like hydrolytic reactions, oxidation, reduction. In phase 2 is known as conjugation phase. Here the drug gets conjugated with other moieties. They are further subdivided as glucuronic acid conjugation, sulfate, glycine and other amino acid conjugation, glutathione or mercapturic acid conjugation, acetylation or methylation. We will see all the phases one by one. This is the overall summary for metabolism. Drug first is undergoes phase 1 metabolism, that is oxidation, reduction or hydrolysis. Then it undergoes phase 2 metabolism, that is various conjugation products are formed. Now it may happen that sometimes the drug directly undergoes phase 2 metabolism. It does not undergo phase 1 metabolism. It will depend on the chemical nature of the drug. Following phase 1, the drug may be activated, unchanged or most often inactivated. And after phase 2, the conjugation product which is formed is usually inactive. Now also there are some drugs like barbitone, diethyl ether, which cannot penetrate the lipoprotein membrane of the tissue, and hence they are excreted unchanged without any metabolic transformation. They are rapidly excreted by active transport mechanisms of the kidney. Active transport mechanism, so here there will be involvement of a carrier. There are various enzymes like extrahepatic microsomal enzymes, hepatic microsomal enzymes and hepatic non-microsomal enzymes which catalyze the metabolism reactions. Extrahepatic microsomal enzyme, they carry out oxidation conjugation. Hepatic microsomal enzyme, we also carry out oxidation conjugation. Hepatic non-microsomal enzymes, they are involved in acetylation, sulfation, alcohol aldehyde dehydrogenase, hydrolysis or redox reactions, and also GSH, that is glutathione conjugation. So let us first see the phase 1. So on chemical basis, it may be divided into oxidation, reduction or hydrolysis. Most of the reaction occur in liver, while hydrolytic reactions of esters and amides occur in gut wall, plasma and the lungs. Now, depending on the nature and localization of enzyme which catalyze a reaction, it is classified as, you can see they are classified in 3 parts. First is metabolic transformations which are catalyzed by the enzymes of endoplasmic reticulum of the liver and other tissues of the microsomal drug metabolizing enzymes. Next is reaction catalyzed by non-microsomal mammalian enzymes, that is enzymes which are present in mitochondria, lysosomes or cytoplasm, and reactions catalyzed by intestinal microflora. You know, microflora is present in our intestine, especially large intestine. So microsomal enzymes, they are the enzymes of endoplasmic reticulum, and non-microsomal enzymes means the enzymes present in mitochondria, lysosomes or cytoplasm of tissues or in blood plasma. Microsomal drug metabolizing enzymes include mixed functional oxidases, reductases and esterases. First reaction, that is oxidation. So oxidation is addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Enzyme involved is cytochrome P450. So after oxidation, the drug becomes increased water soluble, that is its polarity increases, and reduced tubular reabsorption, that is its tubular reabsorption decreases. Hence, this will facilitate excretion out of the body. Oxidation generally occurs at aromatic rings, terminal position of alkyl chains, N-methyl group, alcoholic groups, and exposed corners of the alicyclic rings. So, whenever the drug contains aromatic ring or it has alkyl chains at terminal position, then N-methyl group, alcoholic group and exposed corners of alicyclic ring, so their oxidation can occur. You can see here, in the first step 2 hydrogens are getting removed and in the next step oxygen is getting added. So here ethanol is first oxidized into ethanol, or you can say acetaldehyde. Sorry, it is ethanol, it is getting oxidized to ethanol, and ethanol is getting further oxidized to ethanoic acid.